I am down here in historic Seabreeze. You ride around here and look around in Carolina Beach area now. It's nothing like it used to be. And I have two elders from the community that can tell you about the historic Seabreeze. So what is it that the young folks don't know about Seabreeze?
Boy, I'm just going to start on that one, Bill.
Well, the first thing they don't know about, we had in my day, in our day, we had about 20 or 25 black businesses here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in here was black.
Okay.
You know, or Native Americans, or whatever we went for.
Yep.
And you know, we went for different things. Some went for Indians, some went for African Americans.
Exactly.
Some went for white.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had them all three.
And they referred to everybody as a Negro.
But we were down here, and all these places. Uncle Grover had that pier right there. The pier still there, remnants of it.
Okay.
But in my day, that was a two-story pier.
Yeah.
Wow. A two-story pier?
Dance hall and a restaurant downstairs, and then the rooms upstairs.
This pier right here?
That pier right there. That pier is grandfathered in. You cannot put another pier there and have it that close to the channel like that one is.
Okay.
It's grandfathered in.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when I was a boy, we used to dive off the top of that thing, you know.
Oh, I remember diving off.
Huh? Yeah, we used to dive off the top of it because it was right close to the channel.
Is this where everybody used to come and dance?
Oh, man.
Oh, man, yeah.
Juke joints everywhere. You could hear the music. You go on the beach, they could hear it.
Oh.
We could hear their music.
Yeah, dance halls, restaurants,
We're back in the call
hotels.
Piccolos.
We had an amusement park.
Yeah.
Ferris wheel. Yeah, hopping horses. And then
Hold on, what's a hopping horse?
a hopping horse, you know, Ferris wheel.
Oh, hobby hall.
Hopping horse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you go down 74, 76, you got a place there called Freeman.
Yeah.
Then we have family all over East Arcadia,
Yes.
Regalwood, Bolton,
Yes,
all the way back to Farmers Union and Hallsboro.
that's right.
But everybody's got disconnected. Don't nobody know who they're kin to.
Well, I've been up there. I know what you're talking about. We buried some of our people up there, and of course, you heard of Mitchell Field?
Yeah, Mitchellfield, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been up there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mitchellfield out in Farmers Union.
yeah.
We're actually we're going to be doing some work out there. Dr. Smallwood, professor from A&T, came down to visit Mitchellfield with us, and we was explaining that Chief Mitchell, who was a Tuscarora chief, he came down here, and actually it was the chief's son, John Freeman, who came down here and got some land right next to Abraham Freeman.
Okay.
Right? And Abraham Freeman's sons are all over Seabreeze. They're all over Seabreeze.
That's right.
Yeah, so
you know that about that, did you? Yeah, that was when Abraham.
From what I read, just in my research, some of the white kids from Myrtle Beach used to come up here and sneak up here to peep and see how the dancing that the colored folks were doing, right?
It was dancing everywhere.
They went back and took those dances and called it the shag.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's later on.
Yep.
That's what
The
we
reason
did.
Yeah.
the reason why they called it the shag is because of our hair.
Okay.
So it had little racist overtones, but now we know the origin where the dance that everybody loves to do come from.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a lot of history here, man. Yeah. So
There'd be so many people down here on Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
Man.
You couldn't find a parking place. All these woods would be packed.
Yeah.
Cars. There was a place to park.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hello.
All right.
hey y'all, hey, some more family coming through.
All right.
Woo, hey, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how we lost whatever we had in
Mhm.
Carolina Beach.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand too. In our family, you got people who have, who have Native ancestry, but I mean, in our family, you might go for Black, African American, Indian, is whatever you choose. Yeah, and people don't respect other folks' choice of being who you want to be. Yeah, but you can't erase your ancestry. You are who you are. You got. Yeah, you can't fear Indians.
That's right.
I think that's a lesson that mankind
Right.
could benefit from.
Yes, sir.
You can't. Once you're born, you have no control over where you came from.
Right.
So
Exactly.
getting along whoever you are.
Yep.
Is important.
That piece right there is the best piece right there. But I want to make sure it's not before I even try to throw it in there. Something like this piece right here. That's going to be the one.
I'm trying to make it bigger.
You ever heard of Beat My Roll, Take My Goal? No? Nobody ever heard of that?
So we sang that song to call our ancestors home.
Oh.
That means our ancestors live here.
Okay.
So we're shouting that out as our declaration and our claim, and saying it emphatically. And when we say Akuade, we're calling our ancestors to come back, come back here, because our ancestors live here. Yes, sir.
We have an old cemetery here, the old Freeman Cemetery, and it's back there about a mile from here.
To give a most sincere and heartfelt thank you to Chief Lavelle Eagle Elk. So I got to tell you the truth. We're childhood friends. He used to eat at my mother's restaurant. His grandmother and grandfather had the gift and the talent of seeds and gardening. And they were the ones that gave everybody seeds and plants. And his grandfather would hang the gourds for the birds and would bring all of the mothers, the kushas, for us to eat and to make pies and to celebrate. Oh, and the other thing is that he's my cousin.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in. And we're going to talk about bloodlines beyond borders, colors, and colonial illusions. We're going to take a short journey down the Freeman lineage. So we are far more related than we realize. For hundreds of years in North Carolina, especially in the Cape Fear, Bladen, Brunswick, Columbus, which includes Lake Waccamaw and the neighboring Robeson County, that entire region, our people lived in tight woven, isolated indigenous communities. Tuscarora, Wilcon, Cape Fear, Waccamaw, Lumbee, that whole area, tight-knit woven communities. And other native families intermarried with one another out of survival, kinship, and continuity. Follow me. We intermarried out of survival, kinship, and continuity. That closeness kept the bloodline strong, genealogically, culturally, and spiritually. But colonialism didn't just steal land, it also severed memory. Hold for a second. The greatest thing you can do is to remember. There was great effort put into severing your memory. Severing your memory not only cuts you off from your language, but your land, culture, heritage, bloodline, lineage, everything. But when you go back to language, everything in one's culture, lineage, and bloodline is encoded in the language. So yes, our memory has been severed. It taught us to see differences first, especially differences in skin color, hair texture, phenotype. Over time, those teachings became normalized inside our own communities. until we began to believe that lighter meant Indian and darker meant black, even within the same family. So let me tell you a story that embodies the whole problem. And this is a teaching moment with an elder. This story I'm getting ready to tell you. I was speaking with an older Wakamasuan lady, a humble, beautiful spirit, but shaped by the same miseducation most of us inherited. The topic drifted to the Grahams of Bladen and Columbus County, the Cape Fear region. I asked her if she knew a particular Graham, a dark-skinned guy, darker than me. She said gently, yeah, I know him. But he's from the Black Grahams. No anger, no insult, just repeating what she had always been taught. So I asked her about the older generations, the grandparents, her great-grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and the cousins of the Black Graham family. She recognized almost every name. That's my great-great-grandmother, she said. Oh yes, that's my auntie. Yes, those are my people. Then I told her, that's amazing because those are also his people. Speaking about the darker person who has the same last name. She paused, brows furrowed. Something uncoiled inside her memory, and she said slowly, I guess that means we're family. And I said, exactly. See, colonialism taught us to separate what our ancestors have woven together. What she called Black Grahams and Indian Grahams were in reality the same kinship circle, the same blood, same grandparents, same line. The only difference was the story times had forced them to believe in separation. See, genetics doesn't lie. Colonial narratives do. You got to remember that. Genetics do not lie, but colonial narratives do. Colonial narratives will paint a certain perspective, a certain picture, and then burn it into your memory, replacing the one that creator put there. But here's the thing, the memory that creator has put in us is in your blood. So even though we may not remember, it's still in the blood. And all it takes is a certain spark to connect with the blood, to bring that memory forth. But you got to want to learn. You have to be intellectually honest, and you have to see beyond the colonial values and views that many of us have accepted over our own traditional indigenous views and values. See, a mulatto complexion couple may have a child that looks like them. A darker skinned couple may have a child that looks like them. But genetics is not linear. It's a vault of ancestors. A lighter pair can produce a darker child, and a darker pair can produce a lighter child. That's just the way genetics work. A straight-haired family can produce a curly-haired children, and vice versa. This isn't an anomaly. It's ancestral inheritance. We do not resemble our parents alone. We resemble the entire river behind them. And that river is indigenous. The Freeman line confirms the continuity that I'm speaking about. To make this real, I use myself as an example. Look at my Freeman cousins from the Wakamasuan. William James Freeman, born 1883 to 1966. He is my second cousin, 2 times removed. The first elected chief of the Wakamasuan tribe, state tribe. Great-great-grandson-in-law of Joseph and Margaret Young Graham. Then Clifton Freeman, born 1919 to 1985. My third cousin, one times removed. Son of William, chief from 1941 to 1985. Great-great-grandson of William and Sarah Jacobs Graham. Now, Priscilla Freeman Jacobs, born 1940, still living. She's my fourth cousin, first female chief of the Wakamasuan tribe. Her tenure shaped education sovereignty and cultural resurgence. One more from the same tribe, Lacey Freeman, another grandchild in the same line, another chief, another cousin. Another piece of this living story. We don't just share history, we share blood, grandparents, and identity, even if phenotype tells a different illusion. Why this matters for Freeman genealogical presentation. Because before we dive into the lineage, which after I'm done, Keith Harris is going to give a slideshow presentation followed up by my intro here. Because we dive into the lineage, the documents, and the land grants, and the ancestors, we must first acknowledge a truth. Many of us in North Carolina are related, but colonialism taught us to look at each other as different. Skin tone differences inside Native communities do not mean different tribes. They do not mean different races. They do not mean unrelated families. I'm going to repeat that because this is something I hope you are really listening to and that you get. Skin tone differences inside Native communities do not mean different tribes. It does not mean different races or unrelated families. Please remember that. They mean the survival of an indigenous people under hundreds of years of pressure. The only thing that truly separates lighter and darker members of the same families is colonial classification, social pressure, generational miseducation, internalized narratives, and the trauma of erasure. Not blood, not ancestry, not truth. When you strip away the colonial labels, when you remove the colorism, when you silence the lies, what remains is kinship. What remains is family, and what remains is truth. The Freeman line, like the Mitchells, the Jacobs, the Grahams, Walkers, Pierces, Moores, Spaldings, and on, stands as a living testament. We were never divided. We were never divided on paper. And now we begin undoing that division line by line, ancestor by ancestor, truth by truth, until the story is whole again. So in the presentation that you're about to hear from Keith Harris, he's going to go into Abraham Freeman. And I say this as a disclaimer. There's a lot of debate surrounding Abraham Freeman, my fifth great grandfather, who a lot of tribes in North Carolina claim ancestry to. There's a lot of debate around him. Here's what we know for sure. He has Middle Eastern ancestry, Northeast African ancestry. As far as haplogroups and DNA and all that's concerned, connecting to those regions, even Colombia, South America. Abraham Freeman has an interesting history in the Americas. People argue and debate over who was his father. Was he originally from the Green Swamp area? Is he actually connected to the Freemans up the coast, going into Southern Virginia? I'll land this by saying yes, he is, because I'm proof. People from Southern Virginia contact me through the Freeman lines, through Ancestry. If you are familiar with Ancestry, if you have ever taken a DNA test, the great thing about these tests is you can connect or reconnect with cousins, close or distant, doesn't matter. You can connect with family through DNA tests. Can you find your tribe through a DNA test? No. But you can connect with cousins. If you're related to them, you'll connect with them. If you're not related to them, then you will not connect with them. You may have a shared last name or surname. That is not an end-all catch-all phrase, term saying that you are indigenous. Some families may have started out that way, let's say in the 1700s, but then they chose to marry white or African, which severed that indigenous connection. It is what it is. Again, you have to be intellectual honest and accept every part of you who made you what you are. And you need to give honor and respect to those ancestors who are responsible for you being here today, alive, with a mouth and a voice to be able to speak for them. See, my ancestors speak through me so I can speak for them. They wasn't given that opportunity to have the voice that we have today. So many of us misuse this opportunity. We do it for likes. And I say we, I'm not including myself because I'm not into that. But I usually speak, when I say we, I'm talking about a collective. People are into likes. People are into fame. People want to be in the spotlight. So you'll go with the narrative and continue to spew misinformation. So we're going to reel this back in just on the Freeman line for this particular presentation and give you some genealogical truth. Freeman, not to be confused with Freedman. Those are two different names. All right, let's go into the presentation.
Good evening, and thank you for your time in reviewing this PowerPoint this evening. On behalf of the Cape Band of Scoto and Wokon Indians, we're very thankful for your time, and we always love when community members are nosy about us. This presentation is brought to you by Mr. Winston L. Chestnut, our tribal historian, as well as myself. And what we're going to attempt to do today is show a documented paper trail between the Freedman family and some of the oldest Freedman historical information that we have found available from some of the other family history societies and other tribes. Let's begin. You know him, you love him, and this is Uncle Bill to our left and his daughter Elise. To the right, here is a listing from Uncle Bill all the way up to Abraham Freeman, and we're going to try to demonstrate with some of the documentation that we have found a paper trail between him and good old Free Abe, as he was once called in some of the records as well. Let's begin. Here you have a North Carolina birth index from 1800 to 2000, New Hanover County. If you go down to the third segment, you'll see a listing for William Freedman and a listing for Elise Freedman. Let's see if we can blow that up. Okay, it's blown up a little bit. It's kind of distorted just a bit, but I think we can make out the William and the Elise here as well. Go ahead and ping here, ping there. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, so here we have a 1940 U.S. federal census, New Hanover County, Federal Point. Now, this one is connecting Roscoe Freeman to his daughter Edna, which would have been the mother of Uncle Bill. So if you go into the mid part of this record, you'll find where we zoomed in at. You'll see the Roscoe Freeman there, head of household. Okay, and then there's the daughter Edna, showing a link between Uncle Bill's mom and her dad Roscoe. Okay, on our next slide, we have a 1900 U.S. federal census, New Hanover Federal Point District. Here we're going to show the link between Robert Bruce and one of his sons, Roscoe. So here in the midpoint of the document, you're seeing Robert or Bruce Freeman, head of household, and then just below him, two spots, you'll see Roscoe as a son. And the age ranges are commensurate. Let's go to the next one. Okay, as you all know, going further back, less documentation, less ability to do those little parent-child pieces. But the documentation that I wanted to focus on here was the North Carolina New Hanover County probate list from 1851 to 56. Here we're looking at information about Alexander Freeman, who would have been the father of Roscoe Freeman. Here at the bottom, we've blown it up for you. It shows Alexander Freeman, January of 1854. Son, William Bruce or Willie Bruce Freeman, land joining Thomas Joyner, and James Williams and Henry Davis, 180 acres there. And the executor on that was Mr. Howie, and witness William Thompson, which goes along with a lot of the other written history we find about the Freemans there. Let's move along. Now, the father of Alexander Freeman would be Abraham Freeman. As we said before, the farther back you go, the less you get. I always like to have the parent-child links when trying to show a chain link of ancestry. But what we have here that's available to us, that would be the best example, would be here in the census here for Brunswick, North Carolina, Family History Library film, and we've got an Abraham Freeman, and an Alexander Freeman on the same roll. It's hard to verify the age range. It's pretty much faded out, but this is the closest documentation we can have to that parent-child connection. Let's see. Okay, so let's get to the point. Why is Abraham Freeman so important? Chieftain Abraham Freeman Sr., a leader among the people. Abraham Freeman Sr., 1730 to 1819, emerges in historical records as a prominent leader. The 1763 Bladen County Census lists him as a free person of color, living in the household of Esquire John Turner. It's believed that John Turner managed the land that Abraham had inherited from his father, John Freeman, further confirming a direct connection between them. From 1768 to 1770, records refer to him simply as Freeman. And by 1771, he was known as, quote-unquote, Free Abe. His chieftain status suggests that he held authority over not only the Freeman family, but other key indigenous families in the region, including the Jacobs family, Mitchell family, Graham, Spaulding, and other clans. These families form the core of the tribal leadership structure that has persisted for generations in this region. And there is a citation there if you'd like to take a picture. Who's John Freeman? John Freeman, keeper of Waukusa's land. Mr. John Freeman was a landowner in the Cape Fear region, and records indicate that he passed his land down to Abraham Freeman Sr., This suggests a strong familial link between the Freedmans and Chief Watkusa. Whether John Freeman was Watkusa's son, grandson, or a close relative remains uncertain, but the continuity of land ownership strongly implies a hereditary or tribal connection. And we also have some have a resource and citation there for you as well. If you'd like to take a picture of that. Who was Chief Watkusa? Chief Watkusa, the root of the lineage. Chief Watkusa is believed to be one of the earliest known indigenous leaders in the Cape Fear region. Like many Native American leaders, his authority was likely passed down through familial lines, alliances, and intermarriages. His influence extended across generations, and the land he once controlled appears to have been inherited by John Freeman, suggesting a direct kinship or tribal connection. And we also have some digital references for you there as well, if you want to take a picture of that citation. Okay, so how do the ancestries line up? At the top, you see here Abraham Freeman's descendants and continuing legacy. Abraham Freeman Sr. Had multiple children, not just one. Those would be Edith Freeman, Alexander Freeman, Moses Freeman, and Risen Freeman. Now, we know that Uncle Bill's line descends from Alexander Freeman down into Robert Bruce Freeman, down into Roscoe, down into Edna, and on into Uncle Bill and his family. Now, this is very important and interesting to us because not only do other members of our tribe have similar links through the Freeman family, our chief also has a link. Chief appears through his records as a descendant of Moses Freeman, down into David Freeman, and another ancestor being named after the namesake of Moses. You also have Julia Freeman, down into Chief's grandfather, Willie Caldwell Pierce Moore, down into his father, Lavelle Pierce Sr., and down into Chief. Their connection to Seabreeze and Federal Point. The Freeman family's connection to the land extended into New Hanover County. In the 1840s, Alexander Freeman and Charity Freeman moved from Bladen County to Myrtle Grove Sound, appearing in the 1840 New Hanover County census. By 1850, Alexander had purchased 99 acres of land at Myrtle Grove Sound, later expanded to 180 acres by his son Robert Bruce Freeman. In 1876, Robert Bruce purchased nearly 2,500 acres of land, including the former Sedgley Abbey and Gander Hall plantations, making him one of the largest landowners in New Hanover County. Robert Bruce played a significant role in the local community, donating land for a school for Black and Indigenous children in 1877. I'm trying to get more history and information about that school and for a later presentation. Notable Freeman family leadership. Many of Abraham Freeman Sr.'s descendants became influential leaders, particularly within the Waccamaw tribe. Key leaders in the Freeman lineage. William James Freeman, recognized as the first elected chief of the Waccamaw Indian tribe. He was also a second great-grandson-in-law of Joseph and Margaret Young Graham. Clifton Freeman served as chief from 1941 until his passing. He was a great-great-grandson of William and Sarah Jacobs Graham. Priscilla Freeman Jacobs, still alive, daughter of Clifton Freeman and the first female chief of the Waccamaw, serving from 1986 to early 2005. Lacey Freeman, another great-grandchild of Joseph and Margaret Young Graham, who served as one of the tribe's 5 chiefs. Additionally, Chief William James Freeman and Riley Timothy Freeman were sons of James Lloyd Freeman, but they had different mothers. DNA and ancestral markers. The Y-DNA markers of the Freeman family provide additional insight into their deep ancestral roots. of the male lines that have taken tests and provided information. These markers are found mainly among people within the Green Swamp, Cape Fear region, northeastern Africa, Egypt, Israel region, Kuwait, Iraq, Colombia, South America. To a much lesser degree, we are finding some West African DNA, not as much as we should be. This is what we're told is very unique of our people and our interconnected families within the area. And we thank you. Please hope we've given you enough of a teaser to want to know more, because we do have a lot more to share. And we look forward to sharing more with you as time goes on. Again, many thanks.
I live through you, child. Skarure Urenta Wakan, the life force, the way. We are the ancestors. We see you, hear you, and walk with you. We must love and respect each other and speak our truth. This is our way. Nyare nyawe